Hi, this is John McGuire. I am the search product manager for Global Search, and I'm going to take you through some of the updates that we have planned for GitLab 1311. Over the last few milestones, we've been working on separating out the index instead of having each scope in one large index. We've been breaking out each scope into their own individual index. That's going to give us a lot more flexibility for how we can finally adjust details over that index, as well as make some performance improvements that you will see because search will work faster. In order to do this, we've done a lot of things to make sure that we're not adding extra complexity to administering your Elasticsearch component for advanced search. And we have broken out most of the scopes. The next one that we're going to be taking on is merge requests. So merge requests are going to be broken into their own index. We plan to start this work in 1311. It may complete 1311. It may get finalized in 14.0. But the plan is to get this started and to attempt to actually get it ready. Since we've been breaking out the indexes, we realize that this has been adding some more complexity into the index settings in advanced search. So I have requested that we actually break these details out into a new layout that will allow for a better refined version of how you can see the different types of indexes that are referencing the different scopes, and then be able to set certain shard and replica details across those. So this key change is really just about, allowing for the index to be easy, the index details to be easier to manage if you are customizing some of these settings. So we've seen some great improvement to the latency since we've been making these changes. This originally was about twice the latency that we were seeing. This has gone down considerably, and we have noticed that it's starting to tail up a little bit, with the exception of a couple dips down here. Now, because of that, we're going to continue to do some work that is going to enhance performance. That is going to be some batch deletes for Elasticsearch. So when Elasticsearch does some very detailed processes that requires content to be deleted, it does take up a lot more performance that can impact latency. If we can batch these deletes together, that should allow for these groups to kind of quickly go in, impact performance, and get back to normal, and allow for a higher chance of just long-term better latency results. The only exception being, of course, when it's running through a batch of deletes, but even batching those together allows them to run faster. So this is something that we're looking at in 1311. We'll be doing some testing, and if it all looks good, we should be able to get this in, and that will improve latency for GitLab.com as well as our self-managed users. As we start looking at what we've kind of changed and applied across GitLab and global search, we've focused on the details of these scopes. And one of the things that we've seen in feedback, and it's, we thought we could make it better, is that the tab order, the scope order that comes back when you do a search has not been consistent. It will change depending on where you're coming from and a lot of variables. Those variables don't necessarily help if they're changing the order. Maybe it helps for what default scope you're in, but we didn't see that changing the order was actually beneficial. And so we intend to fix the order so that it's the same each time. And this means that every time you'll be able to reference and learn the same order of these scopes without having to worry about them changing places on you. We're using some detail on how frequently these scopes are used in global search to determine what order is going to be the most important. So finally, we've gotten some feedback from some of our customers that we could have some better documentation. Now, we've made some good documentation changes that were part of 1310 and have reorganized the information as part of our GitLab docs. The next piece I want to try to handle is the details on how you set up advanced search integration with Elastic and the general setup documentation for advanced search. And so this is the goal is to actually have this kind of revised. I've also added the ideas of having some walkthrough videos, which is something that we haven't really done a lot of in the documentation, but I think it actually could be helpful to see at least a walkthrough of some of the general configurations in a video, so that it's just easier for anybody that might get stuck trying to figure out what they need to do if they're trying to set up advanced search or install advanced search with Elastic. And that's it. That's what we're looking at doing for 1311.